For the final apple shading video, you're going to need to begin by recreating the simple shading using one color per section and using a light source. At this point, please pause your video and practice that method again. If you wish to change the light source, you may do so at this time. I'm going to keep mine the same. Pause your video. Something I forgot to mention in the second video, but I think you probably understood it from the time it took, is shading is a thinking thing. We did say that, but shading is not fast. If you're somebody who likes to hurry and just get it done, sorry, we're going to work on your patience. It's really more slow motions going back and forth so that you get a smooth transition. And here in the third video, what we're going to do is we're going to enrich the colors so that they look even more realistic than they do by just using one color. If you start to think about objects, they are usually more than just one color. Okay, and maybe not in your brain, but if you use your observation skills, your eyes, you'll see that. So for example, if we consider an apple, it's going to be, red or green. But is it? So I'm going to show you an apple that I just have at my house. Okay, yes, I see red, but I see some other things happening. Here where it gets darker, it would not matter how hard I pressed with my red pencil. It's not going to really match the tone of the red that I have here, because this is more than just red or red color pencil. In here, I can see browns, I can see purples, okay, I can see darker tones of red. Your tone is just describing the color. Here, yes, I see white, but I see yellows as well. And all these things are going to richen the color to make it look more realistic. If you examine your skin, go ahead and do that right now. If you examine your skin, sure, it's peach or tan or brown, but is it just that? Or do you have undertones? Most people, when they're talking about your skin, you talk about pink undertones, brown undertones, olive green undertones. You have different shades to your skin to help it look more realistic. So that's what we're going to do here. In order to help us think about richness of color, you're going to use kind of a combination of your common sense, but also the color wheel. Okay, here I want to create a lighter tone. So looking at your colored pencils, which of these would give you a lighter tone? Oh, probably the yellow. Okay, and if I look at my color wheel, okay, here's my red. Lighter tones are going to be over here on this side of the color wheel, and I'll have this color wheel posted for you in Canvas to use as a reference. So I'm going to go in with my yellow, and I'm going to think about leaving some of it white, but leaving or enriching part of it with a goldish yellow. I don't want it to become a yellow apple, but I want to richen my red by adding another tone to it. Similarly, when I go to darken my apple, you might be thinking, oh, black darkens colors. It does, but black also flattens your color. Very few things in nature truly are black. Instead, they have tones mixed together, greens and purples, blues and purples, greens and reds mixed together to darken. A skill you can just use your brain and think, okay, I'm going to grab my darker colors like brown and maybe purple. Those are great choices. But if you look at the color wheel, if you go opposite of the color wheel, these are called complementary colors, the complement will also add darker values. So if I wanted to darken my apple, I might grab a green, and you'll see what that does. If I wanted to darken the leaf, I might grab a red. At this point, I should also mention, I want you coloring with me. So if you haven't done the yellow, please pause your video, do it, and then unpause. Okay, I'm going to assume at this point that you've done that and you have your yellow tone. Now let's grab some darker values I did, when I held up this apple, I really did see some brown tones, and you can see that as I hold up this colored pencil. So I'm going to go in, I'm not pressing hard, by the way. I'm pressing kind of a medium pressure. When I color, my colored pencil kind of dances in all directions, all around the picture. Instinctually, or I guess habitually, I've learned that as I get lighter or as I get closer to my lighter, I lighten my pressure. If I want it to be darker, I press harder with my pencil. I'm going to press harder with my pressure. And yeah, that already helps as I look at it. It's still a red apple. Ooh, but notice the change. And we're not done. So now I'm going to grab maybe a purple. And remember, you're coloring with me, so I expect that you're using these colors as well. I'm kind of going in circles. I'm going left and right and going cross-hatching X's. I learned these skills when I was in high school, starting about sophomore year. So yes, I'm pushing you a little bit further than where you need to be skill-wise as an 8th grader, but I know you can handle it, and it's fun to see what's coming up and what can you do. Now I've added some purple, but I still want it a little darker, so I'm going to go in with that green, that complementary color. And I'm going to add that, ooh yeah, I'm going to add that just in the very edges where my sun is not hitting to richen it up. Ooh baby, look at that. I mentioned I learned this my sophomore year of high school, and then by my junior year, I really had a strong interest in it. This is a picture that I did my junior year of high school, so that's 11th grade. And you can see, as I zoom in, here's a peach. But it's not just peach colored, it's got all those different tones we talked about. Here are some grapes, all those different tones we talked about. And then I also majored in this as well as pottery in college. It was a strong interest for me. Looking here at the leaf, let's use our brain. What would make a lighter, brighter tone? Oh, probably yellow. So I'm going to go in and add a little bit of liveliness with the yellow. What would make it darker? Well, we had talked about red, but I think I'm going to try blue here, just to darken it up a little bit. Please be doing this as well. And then the brown is already pretty dark. Opposite of brown, which is mostly orange, is blue on the color wheel. So I could darken it up with a little bit of blue if I wanted to. Holy cats, do you see the difference here? Obviously, yes. Okay, this